Ladies and gentlemen, this has been an update we've been looking for over a month now. I mean, I've been thinking at this point, are we even going to get this update? But yes, today we've received a major update. A quality of life update is going to change the way that one of the largest Gala games works. This is, of course, Classy Games. You already know what I do. I give you the latest, greatest in Gala and Web3 gaming. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now, here is the holy grail of updates on Spider Tanks. Patch 1.4, the Spider Tanks Arena upgraded. This is going to be an overview on this patch. If you didn't know, Classy is the #1 player on Spider Tanks. There is zero debate here. I have 6 accounts on the max rank. We're all max rank here, okay? All max rank if you're watching this video, but you're going to be even that much better if you look at this. But here it is, patch 1.4. This has been a patch we've been waiting for a long time. Get ready for an improved arena experience and some sweet bundle packages to keep you at the top of your game. So awesome stuff. So here it goes, Drop Pods V2s. Drop Pods, if you didn't know, on Spider Tanks, you can actually go ahead and rent out your tanks to other players. We can call them scholars, we can call them whatever you want to call them, but at the end of the day, you can go ahead and rent them out to other people through these drop pods. Everybody starts with an ironclad, and you could actually go ahead and purchase drop pods depending on the rarity of your tank, going all the way from common to ancient rarity. Of course, ancient rarity earns more, but it also means that the drop pod that you'll be purchasing cost a heck of a lot more. For a lot of people, it's become pretty unsustainable in terms of the cost in relation to the silk price. So it's been really annoying. It's been a very annoying feature to say the least. But let's go ahead and see here what they've decided to do for a V2 for drop pods. So drop pods are better than ever now, with added options for captains that will help add to a smoother experience for pilots. Captains may now redeploy one or all drop pods using the previous build in the drop pod. For owners of multiple drop pods and those that work with long-term pilots, we hope this is a welcome quality of life addition. So this is actually very, very awesome, because they're essentially saying, hey, we're going to make it that much easier for you to redeploy your tanks. Instead of you having to manually click on them one by one by one by one, and you've got like 40 of them, you can go ahead, press one button, and you've just redeployed all of them. The captains will also notice an unpack or unpack all option available to them. From now on, when a pilot is done with your tank, it will now stay in the drop pod until unpacked after it is returned to you. This will allow a captain a chance to view their pilot's progress from the previous day. This is amazing, because back then it would end, right? Like the timer would end, it'd be like a 24-hour timer. And then after that, we would just have no information on how much victory points they actually ended up earning. So we'd have almost no way to deduce if they've actually been doing what they've said they've been doing, or if we just gotta believe them and take it for what it is. Now instead, it's going to show up there, and we're going to be able to see no matter what. We'll have to click the unpack button. Of course, there's an unpack all button for quality of life. And deployed drop pods will now have an unlock option, which instantly returns the contained tank to you from the pilot it has been sent to. This option will carry an arachnium cost to the resource in the game, but will be free for the first 10 minutes of deployment, just in case you make a mistake. This is massive, okay? This is probably the biggest update on this patch for quality of life, because for me, I all of the time make a mistake where I'll just accidentally do exactly what they did here, which is just send it to anyone instead of a specific pilot. So you can actually press this return early button, and you're able to just get out of there. And this is the thing with games on Gala. I mean, they're just becoming better in terms of quality of life over and over. You could see here, and this is so cool, okay? The cost to unlock a drop pod after the 10-minute grace period will be 0.5 arachnium per 12 hours that remain on the deployment. And check this out, okay? Check this out. Depending on the rarity of your tank that you're putting on the drop pod, it gives you a duration. So the ironclad drop pod, check this out. You can go ahead and rent out your tank to someone for 144 hours. Back then, it was 12 and 24. That was all you had. But now, if you've got the rare tanks, you can put them for so much longer, which this is an absolute game changer for Spider Tanks. You don't know how many pilots and captains have just been way too lazy to manage all this stuff. And they just said, screw it, I'm not even going to deal with this. I'm not even going to deal with getting a pilot, because it just takes too much effort to continuously do this over and over and over again. But here you go. They finally fixed this issue, and that's great. In terms of a Play and Earn View V2, the Play and Earn menu now shows far more statistics about your activity than it did. So you could see the lifetime earnings, which I think is really cool. We didn't really have this before. We could see the current silk price, which is not the greatest in the world. And then we've got the cycle information in terms of the VP to silk ratio, which I think is something we've needed for a long time, because we've been doing it ourselves through the mathematications, right? But now we can actually go ahead and see it transparently on the actual cycle information. I think it'd be great if you could click on this and actually see exactly how they calculate this so people can get a little bit more clarity on it. Maybe they did, right? But this is something that is awesome news in terms of when we're getting this information and where we're getting it from. And it's not just this main dashboard though. Each weapon, body, map, node, or drop pod now shows more statistics about the rewards you've accumulated. So you'll see it right there. In terms of a report v2, people have been reporting themselves since the dawn of time. There's a new report function. The mute button, oh yeah, the mute button on the in-game scoreboard is now a mute and report button. Muting a player will stop you from receiving communications from them and will also report them for in-game communications abuse. Any reports for communications abuse will now no longer be punished with game bans, but instead with a global mute. So you can't trash talk. Good luck to you. Every player now has a maximum of 3 reports to spend daily. It's important to note that the above mute and report action will never count as one of those 3 reports. If you report a player and that player is found guilty of abuse and is punished, you will receive an in-game notification and an extra report that you could use whenever you need it. So that's great. I mean, that's great in terms of reports. And here we go. Kill feed v2. Get ready to get vicious out there. The in-game kill feed UI has been overhauled and tons of new ways to stand out from the crowd in battle have been added. Domination. Destroying the same player 2 times in a match before them sends them a notification that you're dominating them. This gives you extra points at the end of the match. Interesting. Revenge. Destroy a player dominating you. First blood. Get the first kill. Multi-kills. Pentakill. Isn't that cool? I think it's cool. And then, boom. This is one big for me. Free cam is here, so we can actually do these really cool cinematics on Spider Tanks. It's been something I've been wanting to do. And trust me when I say this, we're going to be doing a heck of a lot of Spider Tanks content surrounding this free cam feature right here. In terms of hidden ranks, interesting. Testing has shown that ranks being visible before a match has a negative effect on players' enjoyment of the game and perception of matchmaking, while offering no meaningful strategic benefit. It arguably could also detract from the time they've been devoting to thinking about team composition and strategy in the limited ability window time. This is interesting. Players will, however, still be able to see ranking info after a match. Okay, so what you're trying to get here is when you get into a match, you can't see the rank of you or your opponents. After the match, you get to see that information. So I guess it's better if you're not trying to get tilted because you're deity and you've got a legend player on your team. Instead, you can actually focus on the game instead of complaining about that fact. So a player that manually leaves a match will now be considered abandoning. This is interesting because back then people would leave matches and then right before the game ends, they just come back and they'd be not penalized at all. Now you're going to get penalized. So do think twice before you go ahead and do that. Other things, bot players on your team will no longer callously ignore the flag. They're not going to ignore the flag. Greater AI. Weapon and body properties in the garage now show a lot more information about each. And this is interesting. I don't really see what exactly I'm getting from this. I guess it's earned the cycle and earned over lifetime is what you're getting in terms of information. And then they did a survey recently on Spider Tanks where they went ahead and gave information surrounding what game modes people wanted to play. And it's obvious, no one likes Chicken Chaser, okay? So instead of doing them all in terms of the same odds, Team Deathmatch is everybody's favorite, so it's got a 24% chance, 22, all the way down to Chicken Chaser, which screw Chicken Chaser. If you like Chicken Chaser, don't put it in the comments, because everybody's just going to bag on you. Just hide that fact. But anyway, we've got an 8% chance here of a Chicken Chaser actually ended up happening. And here we go. The last but not least, balance adjustment. So this is the power of the tanks, etc., etc. And here we go. The people with lighter bodies, finally, rejoice. This is a day of rejoice because lighter bodies on Spider Tanks are completely trash. Maybe they're a little bit better now. They've got a little bit more health. Sniper rifles, apparently, they're doing a heck of a lot more damage, and they've got better reload times. Fire artillery, it's got more damage, which I think some people are going to be upset about. Rocket artillery, people might be a little bit upset about that one too. Laser Blaster has a bit of a faster projectile speed. I think Laser Blaster definitely needed this. Brambler also definitely needs this as well. They need way more damage. It seems like they found out that explosion damage just doesn't do a lot on Spider Tanks, so they're increasing that. And for all the Tortoise lovers out there with blade spinners, They've increased the projectile damage slightly. It's not too crazy. It seems like we're entering a meta of people just destroying each other faster. They're just adding damage to everything here. And here we go. Crossbow. This is a big buff here. The self-slow while charging has gone down from 25% to 15%. This might actually knock crossbow up a tier. Instead of it being a B tier weapon, it might now be an A tier weapon. The fact that you don't really have much of a slow at all is going to be absolutely massive when you're trying to get in there and trying to get some damage done. Flamethrower, and this is interesting here because some people have been doing speed boost. Maybe now you could just go ahead and get away with just doing teleport. But here you go. Self-slowing use has gone down from 40% to 30%. So I don't know how big that is, but it's definitely something. Ooh, and then we've got chicken meta maybe. Projectile speed has gone up 1, explosion damage up. I agree with this one. I think chicken's pretty trash as it stands, and this is a necessary upgrade. A grapnel launcher, a little bit of a better pull force, a little bit less self-slow. I think it's okay. I don't think that's going to really change much in terms of the meta on grapnel. I think it's still bad. A stun grenade has a bigger explosion radius, which is pretty big because of the fact that stun grenade is going to be doing something on a specific game mode that I'll be reading later. A triple threat has less projectile damage, which is necessary. Triple threat was broken. I think it needs even more of a nerf, maybe 500 instead of 550. A reactive plating has a self-slow now. 15%. Oh, wow. Okay, this is going to change the meta for sure. A 15% self-slow is a lot in terms of how this is going to affect planning on when you should be using RP. You got to be a lot more closer instead of just running people down. And then we've got energy cost 6 to 7, which is a big nerf too. Wow, that's going to be really interesting. I don't think RP is going to be meta next patch. I mean, this is a big nerf. Repair zone, I don't think anybody cares about repair zone too much, so I guess. I don't know. I mean, I guess. Sure. Repair drone, I feel like, is more of a focus than repair zone, but whatever. So pest control. As usual, the bug assassins have been working behind the scenes, and they've done a lot of things. Shield projector can't push people out of bounds. They've upgraded a couple things. Ripper is actually a weapon now, which is great. I love it because I'm a tiger lover. And that's pretty much all the big ones. Poultry pusher chicken, sometimes being the wrong team color. Some people get very confused about it. It'd be like that. And here we go. Arena bundles of joy. Oh, wow. Look at this. Bing bong boom. Do you think that's all? We are introducing a new series of products on the Spider Tank store, and this is for the people that like spending. Component bundles have now been introduced to the store. So if you're new to this game, this is an absolute steal of a deal. Purchase component bundles with Gala or ETH and receive an additional 5% off. So do note that if you're buying them with Gala or Ethereum, you're going to get that extra 5% off. Have you ever been piloting other people's tanks and just want your own? Fair enough. Starter bundles come in 4 varieties currently. Each contain a common body, common weapon, 15 arachnium, and 1,500 bolts. So you'll at least get to level 15. Disclaimer, if you're buying this, please, when you're upgrading your tanks, if you're getting 0 to level 18, make all the upgrades perfect. You'll know what I mean when you see the excellence and the decence and blah, blah, blah. 0 to 18 is all perfects on a common tank. 18 and on, 19 to whatever, like 27, excellence only, excellence to perfect. It's all you're going to get, okay? Don't make it worse. Your tank needs to be good. After that, you can get, whatever you want. Greats and up is what I usually do. But please, I know a lot of people that make this mistake. This is a disclaimer. If you're going to be purchasing this on Spider Tanks, make sure that you correctly upgrade your weapon. So these, bundles are $20. What bundle do I personally think is the best? They all cost the same. First off, repair gun is strong. I'm not going to lie. It's a very strong weapon, but it's a repairing weapon, okay? Most people are not made for repairing. So if you're not made for that, it does have the machine gun pew-pews, but it isn't for most people. Most people are going to be bad with it. I think it has one of the lowest win rates in the game. The artillery. Artilleries are hard to use. Fire artillery is awesome. I love it. But at the end of the day, do we want to use a fire artillery? I don't know. If you're on the lower ranks, this is going to be wonderful for you. Carver is great for low ranks because people don't know how to play against Carver. Once you get better at the game, though, you're going to have a lot of trouble fighting people with a Carver. Last but not least is the ranged starter bundle, which I think is the best. It's got a maul body right here and a bouncer gun. I love bouncer. I actually used to own an ancient bouncer a couple months ago. This is awesome. I love the range starter bundle. So if I'm going to recommend anyone, which is not financial advice, this is just if you feel like getting it, I would recommend to any new player getting into spider tanks to pick up, out of all these four, the range starter bundle. It's my favorite bundle, because I think that the bouncer gun is a solid all-around gun. When you shoot people, it ricochets if someone else is close. It just bounces in between them, doing a metric ton of damage. So there's a lot of utility there and a lot of things that you could take advantage of. And here we go. Here we go. Apparently, you know, they're just telling people, because chicken's sake, go play the game. And I think this is something that we've needed for some time. We've needed something to be excited about. Something else that you should kind of know is, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that Chicken Chaser is fixed for the most part, because you can now stun grenade people and stop them from turning into chicken. I hated when people would just do shield drones and then they would just turn chickens in over and over. I'd be so frustrated without a shadow of a doubt. I'd be molding over this stuff. So I think this is an awesome patch. Overall, my thoughts on it: this is a quality of life patch, okay? I don't think this is bringing a ton of new features into the game that's going to all of a sudden completely revamp the way that you see spider tanks. But one thing I will say is, well, for one, the name spider tanks doesn't make a lot of sense, because look at that. That's a shark and that's a tiger. But, you know, I digress. It's just a name, right? The second thing I want to say is, you know, this is a quality of life upgrade. This is a big upgrade for quality of life. This will absolutely make the game feel better. It's going to make the game feel so much better. But it's not what people are looking for. So if you're expecting all of a sudden 40,000 people to hop onto spider tanks, I don't think this is that update. I think that spider tanks is going to have to wait until it gets out of that Gala launcher and gets onto somewhere that is much easier to actually onboard into, somewhere where you don't need a wallet to get in, or maybe it automatically generates the wallet that you need to get in. Spider tanks also, in my humble opinion, deserves to be a mobile game. It should be a mobile game. So I'm looking forward to when Spider Tanks ends up going mobile, because I think that's going to be an absolutely behemoth of a game on mobile. It just doesn't make too much sense on PC. It's fun on PC. I've played over 3,000 matches on PC, but I just feel like, you know, deep down, I want it to be a mobile game. The last thing I wanted to say is, thank you guys. I mean, just thank you in general. I don't know what's been going on, but over the past few months, ever since I decided to kind of just ditch the other channel and put all my focus on this one, it's been paying off in droves. I mean, everybody within the Gala Games community, a lot of people have been talking to me. I've been learning about so many new things in such a short period of time, and I've really never been more passionate about Gala as a community and as the games that they've been providing. A lot of people go after me and they're like, oh, but you're sponsored by Gala and this and that. If I'm going to be, truth be told, like 100% truth be told, 99% of the funding on this channel specifically is coming from you all. It's coming from people that are watching these Gala Games videos that are deciding that they want to go ahead and click on the affiliate links that we leave in the description on every video and, you know, end up buying. Of course, we're not forcing people to buy. We're not encouraging people to buy, but the opportunity to go ahead and do so and using my code, it supports me a whole lot than some of you expect. So I wanted to thank you all for supporting the channel. You know, this is only at the beginning of Classy Games. I'm looking forward to bringing more awesome gaming content for you all. But let me know your thoughts in the comments section. Until the next time, this is it. That's all. This is Classy. Stay classy. Boom.